Hey guys, it's Holly from Cape Cod Creatures. How are you doing this afternoon, Terrosphere? So we are doing the Sunday live chat. It's a little early because I've got the house to myself today, and I know as soon as everybody comes home, it's going to be crazy pantsery. So I just figured I'd do it now, as opposed to waiting until 5 when everyone's home and wanting my attention and being ridiculous. So for those who are new here, if you want a reading, you can go ahead and put your questions in the chat box. Today, I thought we would talk about Tarot Future. Well, it's a hashtag Tarot Future, and it is by, oh my goodness, who is it by? I have the video up on my work computer. You know what, honestly, I'm not quite sure who Tarot Future is by. I kind of went down the YouTube rabbit hole last night. So I found it last night, and I should have written down who the original tag was by. But I will put the link to the original video in the doobly-doo after we chat. So yeah, we're doing readings today. Let me see what I have for reading decks. I thought I would give Tarot of the Magical Forest a try today. This is a new deck for me. Haven't quite opened it. Haven't even opened it yet, actually. It's got cute little bunnies and stuff, but they all look kind of neurotic. Let's see. And let me grab my bag of tarot-y goodness. We've got Inner Star Oracle. I've got Pagan Otherworlds, of course. And then I've got like every deck I own is like right up on shelving where you can't see it, but we've got tons and tons of decks to read with today. Also, tonight is New Moon in Leo, so we'll do some Spirit de la Lune action. Also, I'll be making some moon water tonight, which will be really exciting. It's the first time I'm going to be making it at home, so I can do it out on the back deck, which gets like a really nice view of the moon, because the window that I was making it in at work it lets in a lot of light, but it's north facing, so you don't get a lot of moonlight in that window. So that'll be interesting. So yeah, that's all we really have going on today. Kind of really exciting. That's my telephone. We've got I got the Shadow Tarot in finally. I have actually been taking my time, and it's really hard to kind of see in this window. I think this video is probably better made at night, but the Shadows Tarot, I am super excited about this deck. Not everybody is going to be excited about it. It is a demonology deck for the most part, but it's got dark and light aspects, but it's mostly about shadow readings. This is the book that comes with it. It's actually really nice. It's silver. This is the deluxe edition. It's got its own bookmark and stuff. I'm actually really excited. The pages are gilded. I don't know if you can see that, but the pages themselves are gilded. And it's kind of cool. It's almost like reading like a little version of the Bible. And it's got its own, it's very much its own system. It's not so much a traditional tarot. I believe it's 80 cards long. Let me see. Nope, 78. No, yeah. No, it's 78 cards. Okay. Yep, it's 78 cards, but they're all very different, and they're all very beautiful. It comes in this awesome bag. The box is, you know, super nicely done. Let's see what else we got going on here. I haven't even opened the cards yet. I've just been enjoying the book so much. But the cards are large size, and they are silver, and silver on the front as well. So it's all very, I'm going to wait until night to really take a look and film this one. I'm going to film a review for it. But it looks like an awesome deck. The bag is really nice. And I don't know, like, I'm just super excited about it. I love reading about old school demonology. I don't know why. It's just always interested me. It's part of the reason I love Supernatural so much, I think. But yeah. So, oh my goodness, it's kind of a ghost town up in here. I think if nobody pops on in the next 5 minutes or so. I'll try again later tonight. I was hoping to be able to do this morning, but you know. Okay, so let's see. That's all that's really going on. But anyway, I was hoping to talk about Tarot Future, and it's about the future of tarot. As well, yeah, it's about the future of tarot. Like, you know, it kind of used to be like not an obscure, but kind of like a taboo practice that not a lot of people did, and like we all kind of knew one, and you just kind of go and like. And at least for me, it was like one of those things you did it as a novelty, and it's about how tarot is kind of getting a little more mainstream, especially with all these new decks being created, and it's about the future of it, where everybody seems to be doing it lately. And I don't think everybody is doing it so much as I think it's one of those when you get a new car, you notice more people. Oh my goodness, we've got some people popping on. Hey guys, how are you? Of tarot, because there's a tarot tag. It's hashtag Tarot Future, and I wish I remembered who it was by. But yeah, it's about, I don't know, like it's kind of like, where do we think tarot is going? And I think it's interesting that a whole bunch of people seem to be in it all of a sudden, and I think it's because it's finally caught on that it's more of a psychological tool than anything else, and a vehicle for giving tailored advice, which is really neat. Where do I think it's going? I don't know. Like I think it's definitely becoming a little more commercial, which like I guess it's good, but I don't like yeah, I love that all these decks are being created, and I love that people are able to make a living doing their art and what have you. I guess I do worry about people just creating tarot decks for the sake of creating tarot decks. I feel like I see a lot of decks that come out, the collaborative ones mostly, where you can definitely tell there's an artist or two that doesn't quite grasp the meaning of a tarot card, and it doesn't always come across in their art, or if it does, it comes across in a really super roundabout way. So that's something that kind of worries me, is a saturation of the market with people that don't know what they're creating, or they aren't at least intimate with what they're creating. So I would definitely like to see more artists kind of get down and dirty with tarot before they go ahead and create a deck. Like at least, you know, practice for a few months, or at least practice while you're creating the deck, and then maybe go back to the beginning and see if your original artwork agrees with what you've created. The other thing that I've noticed is a lot more people are reading for themselves lately, and that doesn't worry me, but it does give me pause, because I know that I have difficulty reading for myself. I experienced it recently. Somebody with kind of an addictive personality was just like, give me readings, give me readings, give me readings, and then, you know, you give them a deck, and then they're not really using, I mean, not that there's a specific way to use tarot, but they're not really doing themselves any favors by hammering a square peg into a round hole, if that makes any sense. They were giving their own cards meaning, instead of using the tarot as a tool to kind of break out of your normal thought patterns. They were hammering their normal thought patterns into the cards they were pulling. I find if you're going to read tarot for yourself, I usually do just a 3-card pull, and about whatever question that I'm asking, and then I use those 3 cards as a tool to maybe break out of my normal spiral of thought, or to think out of the box a little bit, like to come at something from an angle that I haven't been coming at it from before, and that I wouldn't think of to do myself. And yeah, I think with more people reading, you definitely see people like hammering meanings to the cards that don't necessarily fit. I think you see a lot of people jumping into becoming professional readers before they're ready. Like, I would love to be a professional reader. I have only been reading with regularity for 7 months. So, and I'm taking my time, I'm learning, I'm practicing. I know I'm not ready, but you see people that pick up a deck of cards and for the first time, and then a month later they're setting up shop. And I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing. I think that all that's going to lead to is bad experiences for the general populace with a tarot reader. I mean, maybe they're amazing, but if you've only been doing something for a month, you can hardly call yourself an expert. And if you're going to charge people, you should be a little bit of an expert. Yeah, what else? I don't know. I think the future of tarot is, hi Ivan, how are you? Talking about hashtag tarot future, which is a hashtag. I don't remember the original YouTuber who came up with it, which is really horrible of me. Hi to Spirit, how are you, Simon? Stephanie, yes, I will definitely, I will give you a reading. Absolutely. Put your question in the box. But yeah, like, I don't know. I don't think that I necessarily, I don't know, the future. So we're talking about the future of tarot. And so far I've touched on, I've touched on, what have I touched on? So I've touched on, that's you, are you? What? Okay. I don't know, I got lost for a second. Weird, I lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. Yeah, so tarot future, we've touched on the amount of decks that are being created lately. We've touched on how mainstream tarot seems to be coming, and about addictive personalities in tarot as a result of how mainstream it's becoming. Oh, yeah, anytime. Your question in the box, and then we can go from there, okay? So anyway, yeah, I don't know, Simon and Tarot Pros, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about the future of tarot and some of the good and the bad that might come from it becoming so mainstream. I worry about it becoming too commercial, and I worry about too many inexperienced people kind of, I worry about too many inexperienced people. Whatever question you might need a little insight on, that question is completely up to you. It could be anything. You know, we try to keep it a little PG-13 around here. But yeah, if you have a question about something and you might need a little insight, I can totally read on that for you. But yeah, no, I'd be interested to hear what. You don't think it'll become too mainstream? I don't know. I think with the amount of decks that are out there, though, and with the advent of the internet, I think it's becoming a little more popular than probably anybody would have foreseen. And for those that aren't able to see the chat, Simon doesn't think that tarot will become too mainstream. And really? So he also says that 30 years ago, he knew so many people reading cards and now hardly anyone. Maybe it's something that people are a little more drawn to in their youth, before they have a little experience under their belts. And then it kind of, like anything, it kind of tapers off, which is weird because I don't know about you, Simon, it seems like you kind of, yeah. Ivan also worries about tarot becoming more institutionalized and commercial, like you must follow X rules or have X credentials to be legit. I worry about there being a lack of credentials or rules. Not that there should be rules necessarily, but I think that unfortunately with tarot, I don't know. I think unfortunately with tarot, there are too many people that kind of don't know what they're doing, or they don't realize the responsibility that comes with tarot. Or they don't have a good grasp of the ethics that a reader should have, and they just go ahead and hang a shingle out and then give us all bad reps. You know, that's kind of what I worry about. I don't necessarily think that there should be like hard industry standards, but you know, it might be nice to see kind of people being a little more responsible with it, if that makes any sense. And then Two Spirit, yeah, I think with tarot you usually see, what do you need to know about now? Okay. And we will, you know what, I will do Tarot of the Magical Forest for you. It's a fun little deck. Let's see. It's a fun little deck. It's got animals in it. It's a Lo Scarabeo deck. Yeah, the tarot apps. I worry about those. I think there's something, certainly, like, even with randomized tarot apps, I think there's something, like, they don't feel right to me. Does that make any sense? Like, you can't put your hand on a card and be like, that's my card. Like, there's no, it kind of takes away some of the magic, if you will. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah, it kind of takes away some of the magic. Some of the like, tarot readings should be personal. They shouldn't be so general. Like, I think apps are great to preview a deck. They're great for maybe introspection. I mean, there's always gonna be, oh, did I ever tell you guys about the Wicked Scammy Tarot thing that that's a good story. Actually, if I haven't told you guys that story, I should probably tell it to you. I took my friend out for a tarot reading for her birthday. Did I tell you guys about that? Yeah, I think you need to be a little more connected. A little more connected to, I don't know, I'm always going to be a little old school about, like, feeling like having that tangible analog, like, I call it the analog experience, where you have, like, and then I also call things like, oh my goodness, you're blowing bubbles on the beach, that's analog fun. Like, instead of playing with an app that maybe that, you know, blows bubbles for you. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I don't know about the affordability thing. I'm going to disagree with you a little bit on that, Ivan, because there are, yes, Deshanna, I will tell the scammer story. But first I have to disagree with Ivan for a second on the affordability of tarot and people who are disabled. Well, maybe disabled and can't physically shuffle. I could maybe see that. That would have to be, I would say that was probably a very severe disability, because there's like 1,000 ways to shuffle. But as far as the affordability of tarot is concerned, if you know where to look, and this community is so giving, and you really want to learn tarot, somebody, like, I know tons of people just, like, they just give away their decks all the time, decks they don't connect with. The advent of Amazon has made the Rider-Waite, like what, English Magic the other day was like, I got my English Magic deck for $5 and it was here in 2 days. Like, you can't, I'm sorry, I don't necessarily agree with the affordability of a deck. Like, you can, and if you, like, search hard enough in some of the used bookstores and some of the swap shops and stuff, you're gonna run across a tarot deck eventually. Like, you're gonna, like, if you really, really, really want a deck and you really can't afford one, you just have to reach out a little bit. I think that you could probably find one, and, like, the Rider-Waite's going, I think the Rider-Waite's going for like $10 right now on Amazon. So I am going to disagree with you just a tiny bit there. I mean, maybe, like, again, there are some extremes, but, like, if you have a cell phone with an app on it, you can probably afford a tarot deck. I'm just saying that cell phones aren't cheap these days, especially the ones that run apps like Fool's Dog. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, like, apps and smartphones and stuff have revolutionized all sorts of industries, but I'm just saying, like, the affordability thing is kind of silly. If you've got a smartphone, you can probably afford a tarot deck, or you can use that smartphone to reach out to acquire one. The disability thing, I will agree with you on. I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't have its place, but I just also think that there is no like replacing like handling a deck, which makes me kind of a jerk, I guess, but I'm willing. Oh, you had a jumper. Makes me a little bit of a jerk, I guess, but I'm willing to live with that. I'm abroad. I trust you guys to not hate me because of it. Okay. I'm just saying there are ways to acquire them if you can't afford a deck. I mean, you know, there's giveaways and people, you know, there's tons of people have like 40 bajillion rider weights. Somebody will give you one at some point. Okay, so, oh, okay, what do you need to know right now? So you got the 8 of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords. Can you see that? And you got the Knight of Wands. And for your jumper, it was the Sun. So I mean, you got a pretty decent reading. With the 8 of Pentacles, that usually, yep, that was an airplane. I live in, well, I'm not going to say the place where I live. I probably shouldn't do that on the internet, but I live close enough to an airport where you can hear. It's a small airport, and you can hear things fly overhead. Okay, so let's see. The 8 of Pentacles is usually a card of apprenticeship and hard work, like of becoming a master. I mean, this guy is not quite an expert, but he is, he's getting there. He's somebody who's learning, and is pretty close. Like this would be somebody, I would normally think that this would be somebody who is in their junior or senior year of school somehow, somebody completing a degree, somebody taking a class and being towards like the end of graduating, somebody, you know, a hobbyist, like somebody teaching themselves something and getting to the point where they're being really good at it. Then this card, the Knight of Wands, is usually a message about who has just found their passion. It could also mean incoming news about said passion. Pages usually are somebody coming in with like it's a fresh energy almost. It could also be a person, but I don't necessarily read the cards for this as people. But this is like Fred and George. This is Fred and George Weasley while they were still at Hogwarts, if that makes any sense to you. This is Fred and George Weasley and like they're in like their second or third year at Hogwarts. And then the Ace of Swords is new intellectual energy and idea. This is very much like a headspace card. So let's see. For this kind of a thing, I think this is like, I don't know, like you're 17. Yeah, I could see like, yeah, you're about to graduate school soon. I don't know if you're headed into college. This is like, I think this is this might be a card about maybe figuring out what direction you want to go after school, whether or not you need to figure out what your major is going to be. You're probably headed into your senior year of school. It's time to like have a little more focus. Really take the summer, and for the Sun you got for the summer you got Sun, which is a card of joy and celebration and having a good time, and like your life is good right now. So I don't know, I think that, okay, so you're in England, but like probably around I would imagine around the same age as when you guys all start to graduate and think about going to university and stuff. You know, your grades are set up a little bit different, but it's basically the same message. Like it's time to figure out what you want to do when you grow up, like if that makes any sense. And to pick something that you're passionate about and to really think before you make that commitment. But also like if you're going on holiday, if you're, you know, to like not to forget, like while you study, to take the time to appreciate the good things in your life that you have, celebrate, have fun. You're only young once, kind of one of those things. But this is a reading of things looking up for you, very much so. But again, it's time to start concentrating on what it is that you want to do with the rest of your life, and make sure it's something, like, again, make sure it's something you're passionate about. Make sure it's something that you can really be in it for the long haul. Make sure it's something that you want to learn about, you know, just have fun being a kid, but also start thinking about being a grown-up too. Like, it's just that time. Okay, so that was your reading. I hope you loved it, and I hope it resonated. And if you're on holiday right now, the only reason I would assume so is because I actually have a lot of people in the shop from England and Ireland and stuff. So it seems like everybody's on holiday this time of year. But yeah, let's see. Okay, so let's see. Ivan says tarot apps are also great for those who cannot have a physical deck because they are in the closet as readers or tarot learners to keep their interest of tarot secret. I will agree with that, definitely. The Labyrinthos app is really amazing for learning meanings of cards. But again, I don't think it necessarily takes away from the, like, I don't think it necessarily replaces the connection that you can have with a physical deck. And yeah, keeping your tarot learning in the closet, I could see that maybe a little bit. I did for a little bit first too. No, I don't usually ask. I just ask Simon wants to know if I ask where people are from in England. And I don't usually. I find that if people are on vacation, they don't want to, like, they're having a good time. I'm not a very chatty salesperson, which I suppose makes me a bad salesperson. You know, just like, oh, are you guys on holiday? How's the Cape treating you? You know, like, you know, have you had a good time so far? How long have you been away from your dog? If they volunteer the information, fine, but I don't fish for it. I just don't want, I doubt your soul is darker than the night sky with its stars fallen, but if you want a reading and you are serious, then yes, I'm happy to read for you. So you put your question in the chat box and I will definitely read a question for you. Besides, your soul can't be blacker than mine. Anyway, but yeah, Simon, I don't normally fish for that information. If they volunteer it, fine, but anyway, let's see. So, okay, ask a question. You just type it in the chat box and we'll go ahead and read for you. Let's see. So yeah, no, I suppose the tarot apps are good for kids who are just starting out, or people who are just starting out on their tarot journey and they're worried about what do I hope to see tarot in the next 10 years? No, it's good to be nosy. One of the girls at the shop, she asks about where people are from and stuff. She's a little more chatty than I am. What is your purpose? That is a very deep question. So we'll go ahead and read for that with Pagan Otherworlds. Yeah, so she's a little more chatty. She'll ask people like where they're from and whatnot. I feel like I can't do it and come across as being sincere, if that makes any sense. I've been in the shop too long to really, like, I hate to say it, but to be interested about that anymore. I love talking to people, I really do, but asking the same set of questions over and over again in a retail setting just gets really tired. And like this summer, you guys, I was putting in like 80 hours a week at the shop. It was no joke. I like 9 in the morning till about 9, 10 o'clock at night for 7 days a week. So I'm definitely burnt out as far as my business is concerned. So I have a girl in there now and she's much more chattier. And I always took that, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Japanese culture at all, but I would love to travel to Japan someday. And in Japanese culture, it is really, really, really rude to ask a question that you don't want an honest answer to. So like that's kind of the path that I've been following. Like if I can't do something sincerely, I just don't do it anymore, if that makes any sense. And so far it's working for me. Like it's kind of set me right. Like if I can't. All right. So none of your business, lad. What is your purpose? You know what? We'll do those 3 questions. Okay, so none of your business, lad. You pulled the 3 of Cups, which is a card of celebration and partying with your friends. You also pulled the 10 of Wands, which is usually a card of burden, but also of a job well done, but not quite complete. It's kind of a card of burnout, actually. And then you also pulled the King of Wands, which this is somebody who has learned to temper their fire where passion is concerned. They've learned to harness it more so than let it control them. So right now it looks like what your purpose is. I think this is probably saying that you probably need to figure out how to strike a balance emotionally. You know, maybe you're, I feel like maybe you're a little bit of a workaholic. Like you kind of got like this workaholic thing going on, and you also like to go out and party a little too much, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like you should totally take advantage of your life and celebrate it, but you should also, you know, learn how to strike like a good balance. Like you need to find the middle path, and I feel like that is probably your life's purpose. I think you need to come into your King of Wands power. You know, you're putting in too many hours at the office, and then you're putting in too many hours with your friends at the, I don't know how you party. I'm not going to pretend that I do. Usually this card represents somebody who likes to maybe have a little too many PBRs. Not that PBR isn't delicious. I think for the cheap beers, it's the most tastiest out of all of them. But you know, you party a little too hard and you work a little too hard, and you know, you probably got some dark circles under your eyes, and you just haven't quite figured out how to strike that balance. So I think you need to figure out what exactly it is that you're passionate about and why exactly you're putting in so many hours partying and so many hours working, and kind of put a little direction in on that, if that makes any sense to you. But yeah, you need to be this guy, and you need to stop you know, stop this stuff. And it's okay, like with working, I feel like you're maybe kind of a solitary worker. The 10 of Wands is somebody who doesn't work too well in groups. This isn't a guy that, you know, he's not not necessarily a team leader, definitely a self-starter though. Somebody who can, usually I see this card for a lot of people. I see this card as somebody who doesn't necessarily half-ass something, but they 85% asset, if that makes any sense. It's like they get almost to the end. Okay. Like this is somebody who yeah, this is somebody who like doesn't necessarily complete things all the way, and I think you need to learn to do that a little bit. So yep, maybe temper your party, maybe learn to start what you finish, and you know, harness your King of Wands. Well, everybody's like, if you want to get really existential about things, I think everybody, so none of your business lads smiled, and he said, if it makes any sense, his purpose is death. It is what he celebrates, and harness a lot of dark spirits he come across. The fire you speak of is because he's a Leo. And also an amazing compliment. Thank you. I am real, and never let anyone tell you otherwise. Purpose being, that's kind of, I don't know, that's a little, honestly, a little creepy, but that's okay. You do you. Technically, everybody's purpose is to die, though. If you want to get really existential and dark about it, we're all born to die. So anyway, I will take that compliment and run with it, and I hope that reading made sense for you. Okay, so does anybody else? Oh, to answer Ivan's question, where do I see tarot in the next 10 years? I don't know necessarily. I do see it becoming a little more popular. I feel like the more technology and the more we become disconnected from each other as a society, which is ironic because technically we've never been more connected than now. No, I did not pre-order the Darkness of Light Tarot. I just found out about it this morning, and then I went to go order the deluxe edition, and it was all gone, and I feel really sad about that. For another reading, sure. Let me see if somebody else wants one first, just so that way, you know, it's fair and spread out. But yeah, I'll happily read for you again. Okay, so I did not pre-order the Darkness of Light. I wish I did. I may or may not, like, honestly, the thing that's going to make me, I've decided to be a little more discerning with my purchases. I've got a lot of collage decks, and I've got to decide which ones I want to keep. And the only way I would order the Darkness of Light is if he did the special deluxe edition again. So that's kind of where I am with it. Like, I don't hate it. I don't love it. I love that card with the Jack Russell Terrier on it, but I've decided that I'm no longer going to buy cards on whims. And I need to break myself out of that habit. I'm starting to become an accumulator for the sake of accumulating instead of connecting with decks. And I think I learned that lesson with the Mimbermig. So yeah. Hi, Beta. How are you? Yeah, I would love to see a picture of it side by side with Disciples. And honestly, after Disciples, I'm a little wary of ordering collage decks. Does that make any sense? Hi, Cosmic Creeper. How are you? Yeah, Two Spirit, do you think that maybe at some point, I wish Little Red Tarot did more stuff with indie decks for you guys. I don't know about you, but it feels like she kind of like has a set thing and isn't adding more stuff on for the time being. That would be a great one for her to bring in. Yep, no, we're all doing well. Cosmic Creeper has joined us, you guys. So for the new people bumping on, if you want a reading, you can go ahead and put your question in the doobly. Otherwise, we're discussing the future of tarot, and we're talking about like deck collecting and all that, the usual. So none of your business, lad. If you want to ask your question again, you can queue up and you can ask your second question. Let's see. But Ivan wants to know where do I hope to see tarot? That's a very different question. Not necessarily where I see tarot in the next 10 years realistically. So yeah, let's talk about that for a little while. So where do we hope to see tarot in the next 10 years? Realistically, I see tarot in the next 10 years, probably a little more commercialized. I think we're going to see not necessarily a saturation of the market index, but we're going to see a lot of decks that don't necessarily connect like with traditional tarot. And I think we're just gonna see decks created for the sake of creating decks. I feel like the artistic community has kind of caught on that tarot people are like avid deck collectors and will buy just about any tarot deck. So unfortunately, I think we have people seeing it as kind of a cash cow, which is horrible. So I think we're going to see like this ramping up of deck creation, and hopefully we'll see a plateau and then a dropping off and having people more sincere about creating tarot decks, actually creating them. I think we're also going to see, I do have the Sacred Creators beta. If you want a reading with that, you absolutely can go ahead and put that question in the doobly. We're going to see a lot of Oracle decks. We're going to see a lot of Oracle decks being created, again, for the sake of just creating them. I have nothing against art. Like, I love that artists are able to get out there and sell their stuff. I hate when art is created without a little bit of soul behind it. I hate when it's created just for being commercial. Like, I always hated walking into the poster store, and like, I don't know if you guys remember 1,000 years ago, malls used to have poster stores. They used to have like whole stores dedicated to posters. And I remember walking in there, and even as a kid being like, there's no soul behind any of this. Like, like there's no, you know, especially the modern art one, like some of the more modern art ones, like you could tell they were just created for the sake of being created without any real reason behind it. And I feel like we're seeing that a little bit with some Oracle decks already. Oh, what do I think of the Sacred Creator Oracle? Okay, so I did a review for it. So later, if you wanted to look for it, I did do a first impressions review of Sacred Creators. I'm actually going to just grab it. Never mind how fat I look today, you guys. Ugh. Let's see. All right, so this is Sacred Creators. Oh my goodness, I've got whole piles of decks just being ridiculous on my desk. And then after I talk about this, I will do None of Your Business Lads reading for his aura. So this is the deck. This is the book. The book is the reason you get this deck, really. The material that comes, like so there's some online material that comes with it, which originally I thought was, I still think it's kind of pluggy for her website. But you do get a ton of free like online material. The book has some really good journaling prompts. It's a little self-helpy for my tastes. But the cards are nice. So these are the cards. The stock is good. It's got this really fun matte gilding on the edges. It's definitely more geared towards entrepreneurs. If you are looking for a deck that maybe does the same thing, but with a wider appeal, if you're not an entrepreneur, or if you're not an artist, or if you're not like a musician or something, this is for people who, you know, like fine arts and creators and entrepreneurs and business people. If that doesn't necessarily feel like a good fit to you, this is another great deck that kind of casts a wider net with a wider appeal. Inner Star Oracle. The little white book that comes with it is not as extensive as this, but might have a better appeal for you. The thing that I do like about this, though, is it gets people to think a little more businessy about some of their talents that they might have that they don't necessarily feel they could do much with. So it's a good deck. I think it's a little expensive, but the free stuff, the free online content that comes with it is definitely, it's worth it. I think it's good. Okay, so let me see. So we are going to read, I will do Pagan Otherworlds again for None of Your Business, Lad. Yeah, we're already seeing that. Ivan says, I think we're going to see more decks that are Oracle that aren't tarot, but they're labeled tarot. Let's see. Where's None of Your Business, Lads? Question. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through. I want to see, what does your aura represent? Okay, so what does the aura represent for None of Your Business, Lad? You're welcome. You're welcome, absolutely, for sharing. Aw, Simon spent the day with his family. I love family days. Sundays are awesome. Okay. I love this deck, you guys. Like, it is so good. I wish their other tarot appealed to me. I wish their other tarot wasn't TDM, if that makes Tarot de Marseille, which is where everything is, where the pips deck are just like, they're not really that illustrated. Oh, that's Zoe. You think she's beautiful, but you can't smell the fart she just gave me. That wasn't very beautiful at all. I'm just sitting here talking like it didn't happen. We're gonna pretend it didn't because pretty girls don't fart. But anyway, how are you, Brenda? More importantly, how are you? More importantly, like, seriously. Oh my God, this is awful. Yeah, so for those that don't know, I have a dog boutique, and normally my dogs eat Origin, which is like this really super high-end kibble, very high in protein, no fillers. Like it's really, if you can afford it, feed it to your dogs. I can't afford it, I feed it to them anyway and feed myself ramen. But I had some bags of this other food expiring, and I thought, and I can't sell them after they expire, and like whatever, I'm too poor to like just throw that food away, and you can't donate it after it goes by this, after it goes to the sell by date. So I was like, whatever, my dogs can eat it, and maybe like I can free up a little room in my budget for something else. And it is just wreaking havoc on them. Like it's really, like they're very gassy, and I've got 2 of them, and my husband's very gassy anyway. So like, let's just say I haven't been sleeping in the bedroom past couple of nights. Like it's just been oh, the joys of marriage. Okay. So for none of your business, lad, what does this aura represent? Weird. So you got the Page of Cups and the Page of Pentacles, and you also got a half moon, which is, well, first quarter. You got first quarter. So let's see. You probably have a lot of, you have a lot of blue and a lot of green in your aura probably. And I would go ahead and say red too, because that Page of Cups is red haired, again, with your Leo fieriness. And I don't know, like for as much as you profess about being in the darkness, I think you've got some good, I think you've got some, you've got some goodness too. You're probably perched right between the good side, like the dark side and the light side, as you like to say. But as far as what your aura represents, kind of like, well, your aura represents you and the energy surrounding you, and how you let other people affect your energy. But I think your aura represents somebody who is still deciding what they want to do with themselves. The Page of Cups, somebody who likes, like, very emotional. The Page of Pentacles is somebody like very, like, they have emotions, they let themselves feel them, and this is somebody who is in touch with their emotions, but probably not in control of them. And then this is the Page of Pentacles. This is somebody who a little more like 5 senses than anything else, not necessarily in touch with not necessarily in touch with their not, I'm not going to say spiritual side, but like they're a little more hedonistic, a little more loose with their money. Like, their money burns a hole in their pocket. You're more worried about having a good time now than you are about making sure you're okay for later. So I think your aura represents somebody who, again, is just kind of coming into their own ideas about what they want to do with their life. Somebody who probably isn't very well balanced about those ideas. It's very, like, you're very conflicted. And then, you kind of want to decide where you want to go with it. So I think you need to, like, I think your aura is kind of on a tipping point, and you need to decide, like, what you want to do, as far as, like, Do you want to be somebody who's in control of their emotions and their and you know, the way that they let earthly pleasures kind of dictate the way that they live? You know, do you want to be a good guy? Do you want to be a bad guy? I think you have a lot of potential in you being a bad guy, because this is a first quarter moon, so this is where the light is kind of taking over the dark. Oh, Simon, you're leaving. Boo, Simon, don't leave. I love when you're on. So yeah, this is somebody, you know, they're on the beginning quarter of their journey. You've still got a long way to go, but there's nowhere to go from here but up. Okay. Anybody else want a reading? I know somebody else asked earlier, I think. Oh, Simon, we'll miss you. We will miss you, kiddo. Let's see. What have I been missing in chat? Aww. I love when Simon comes on my chat because I'm secretly a huge Simon fangirl. Like, for reals. I love his channel. It's so good. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, so the Sacred Creators is super pricey in the UK. We talked about that a little earlier. And Ivan was talking about oracle decks labeled tarot that aren't tarot but are actually oracle. We see that a lot. I don't know if you caught the very beginning of my video, but I just got one that's like that. It's actually, I cannot wait to, I haven't even opened the cards that you guys have just been looking at the book, but this thing, Shadows Tarot, is a demonology tarot. It's a demonology oracle. It's got a major arcana and whatnot, but it's definitely its own system. Good, yay, I'm glad I'm not the only Simon fangirl. But yeah, the cards, there's no mirroring of traditional tarot at all, except for the fact that there's 78 cards. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a really interesting set. If it makes sense, or you already knew everything you told me, I just wanted to, I'm going to read, you know what, I'm going to read that one later, but thank you. None of your business, lad. By the way, did I tell you I love your name? Like, I feel like it's some sort of superhero sidekick that is just like, none of your business, lad. And mind your own beeswax guy would be the hero. Like, that would be so good. Like, I'm getting kind of a mermaid man, barnacle boy kind of a vibe from it, and I love it. Did you try setting it to Wumbo? Somebody was in the store the other day and they were having really bad trouble with their phone, and I was like, did you try setting it to Wumbo? And they were just like, what's the Wumbo setting? And I was just like, oh my god. So I had to explain to them that whole SpongeBob episode. I am obsessed with SpongeBob lately, you guys, and I don't know why. Yeah, sure. Cosmic, where to focus your energy for your new business venture? First of all, yay, new business venture. Very excited for you. Oh, and then I promised to Shan I would tell my scammer story. Okay, so where to focus your energy for your new business venture. And you know what I want to read with you? I want to read not necessarily a tarot, but Spirit de la Lune. I feel like this is a good deck for that. I love this little deck. I wish this deck was bigger. And I'm going to say that until I am blue in the face and they make one bigger. Because when you get it, like, the cards are super teeny tiny. I want it to be like, I want my hands to be out here with it, if that makes any sense. I want it to be about ½ an inch bigger in diameter, because the artwork deserves it. The artwork absolutely deserves it. Plus, you could totally fit that in this box. Look at all that wasted space. Put a bigger deck in this. like I just really, really, really want this deck to be larger. The other thing that I don't like about it is that happens a lot. Like, I get that you need this to, like, it helps keep the cards nice, but you usually get a card stuck underneath that little foamy bit. Okay, so Dun, dun, dun. I do. Okay, so sorry that now that I've got my reading glasses and my brain straightened back out, I do have difficult. I'm not going to call it difficulty. Seeing spirits. I've never had. So I actually just talked about this the other night in my because I'm taking a spiritual toolbox class is what I'm officially calling it. It is a psychic development class. Yeah, it's teensy. I don't like that it's teensy. Somebody was saying they didn't know it was miniature. It looks way bigger in the photos, and then you get it, and you're like, oh, it's like you see a picture of, you know what it's like? It's like when you go up to the soft, like, have you ever been to soft serve ice cream, and then you see a picture of like this amazing, delicious ice cream cone, like with the sizes, and then you order the medium, and it's like disappointingly small. There are other incidences where things are miniature and it's disappointing, but we won't talk about those. So anywho, so yeah, I have never had like, and Arwen asked me this question too, but like any, like, have I ever had any experience with like ghosts or like good contact with spirit guides or anything like that? And the answer to that, you got a jumper, and I hope it's not just because I'm bad at shuffling. Beeswax candle and sit on a cold. I don't. What does JLKH mean? You got another jumper. All right, so I pulled 3 cards for you. I don't know, like, so sit on a cold mirror, JLKH. You tell me what JLKH means, and then we'll discuss it. I'll make that deal. Oh, it's your name? Okay. Well, if you're uncomfortable putting it in the chat box, you can send me a message on the YouTubes, or you can send it. I have an email. You can send it to my email. But you tell me exactly what JLKH stands for, and I might take you up on it, or I might not. I have seen enough movies about demons to not do stuff when I don't know the meanings of things, and to not mess with things like the Ouija board. Not that I know it's called the Ouija board, but I like to call it the Ouija board. Okay, so you got Connect, which is it's a waxing gibbous. You got Jamie Lee Kyle Hughes. All right, cool. And you got a waning gibbous, which is devotion. So you got a fire and a water card. No, is that air? I forget what that is. Honestly, like, is that terrible? I know this one's fire. I think this one is air. No, it's not. It is not air. It is water. Look at me remembering my triangles. I have a really hard time remembering the triangles, you guys. I don't know what the hell that's about, but like, I'm a grown-ass woman. I should be able to remember the stupid element triangles. And for whatever reason, don't retain it. And it makes me so mad. But you got Connect and Devotion, a fire and a water card. And then you also got the Lover, which is, Taurus, which is Earth. So, okay. Honestly, I think the triangles are super hard, stupid triangles. Like, oh my God. Like, out of all the things with this whole journey that I'm taking, for me to have trouble with is like the stupid triangles. Like, that's the thing that's going to trip me up. Really? Stupid triangles? Yeah. None of your business, lad. Or Jamie, if you prefer, I call you. If you wanna email me the details of why exactly you want me to do this thing that you want me to do, I am happy to, again, take you up on that offer. I am open to trying a lot of things, but I need to know, I'm very much I need to know the nuts and bolts of it. So you can email me. It's capecodcreatures@outlook.com. You know, it's my email is there for everybody to like just know. And if anybody wants to email, you can absolutely email me. But anyway, back to your reading, Cosmic Creeper. I think that this is a really interesting reading. I think this reading is telling me that you need to approach your new business venture as a relationship, if that makes any sense. Because you got connection and devotion, and then you also pulled the Lover card, which is very earthly. I think you need to treat it as you would like a serious relationship, like a long-term relationship, because that is very much what a business venture is. It's not something like, at least for me, let me go ahead and tell you what my experience with my own business venture was. There was definitely a honeymoon period. There was a like, this is amazing and I love this and I'm so in love and this is like, I just absolutely, I love what I do and I love the people and I love the small stuff and I love the big stuff. And then there was like, once that dopamine and those endorphins and all those love chemicals went away for my business, it was like, ooh, what did I do? There was like a roller coaster of emotion that went along with it, especially in the first few months. I am not ashamed to admit that there was a couple of nights where I would like be curled up on the floor of my bedroom in the fetal position crying, because it's super scary to start your own business. But it's very much, again, like that, I'm doing what I love and this is so awesome. And I think that you need to really connect with the long-term why of why you're starting this business. And I love that this is a fire card, because this is what is going to keep your passion for your business alive. Like you need to really keep your eye and your mind on the why. Like the why are you doing this? Like I want you to write out a big list of the pros, not the cons, definitely not the cons, but the pros of like why you're going about this business, like your reasons, your like, I love X about this business. I love X about the chosen field this business is in. I want you to write a bunch of like, I love or I really like statements about this business. And then I want you to put it everywhere. Put it in the notes app on your phone, hang it up on your front door, hang it up in your bedroom, hang it up at, you know, in the office door of wherever your new business is going to be. Put it in your cubicle, like figure out, like put it on one of those sticky notes on your laptop. Like really keep your mind on the why. And then devotion. I think you need to realize that starting your own business venture takes a lot of devotion. Like it's going to take up a lot of your time. And I think maybe you haven't thought about how much time this is really going to consume for you. And I think you need to, this is kind of telling me that you need to sit down and come to terms with exactly how much time this business is going to be taking from you, and you need to come to terms with it. Whether or not it's a small business venture or a large business venture, I think you need to realize how much time this is going to carve out of your time for other things. And I think you need to make that commitment to be that devoted to this new business venture, at least for a while. I don't know if this is a big one or a large one for you, like if you're going to get to the point where you're going to be able to hire people, or if it'll eventually come down for you. But I think you need to really be devoted to making this work. And just, again, like the Lover's card, there's just, you know, it's Taurus, it's a lot of earthy energy, it's a lot of bullheadedness. You're going to feel like some days you're going to feel like quitting, some days you're going to feel like it's fighting against you, some days you're going to feel like the oh yeah, I can type my email address, but yeah, you're going to feel like you're going to feel just kind of like it's, again, you're going to feel like this business is going to take on a life of its own, and it's going to fight you occasionally. It's going to be very stubborn about some things, and you're going to have to think about different ways to approach how to accomplish what you want or get what you want out of this business, but it's going to treat you well. My husband is a Taurus. So I have a very up close and personal relationship with how to handle a Taurian as far as being in a long-term relationship is concerned. And it is very passionate and rocky in the start. And it's definitely, so it's going to take loads. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to treat you well. But again, there's going to be like some stubborn patches and stuff that you hit. And I think that you need to just take that into account. Like basically what I would do is read horoscopes with how like your sign matches up with Taurus people. And like I know like horoscope stuff is really kind of like silly. Well, not necessarily silly, but like, you know, like those cheesy love horoscopes, and like, does my sign match up with a Taurus? I think you need to read how your sign is going to interact with Taurus people, and then yes, absolutely, you can. Brenda, that's pretty funny. Yeah, figure out how Leos work with Taurians, and then go from there. And then I do have to type my email address out for None of Your Business Lad. All right. So yeah, I think that would probably behoove you to figure out, you know, like your business is a Taurus. Yeah, your business is a Taurus. It's just the way it is. I love, it kind of reminds me of that time. I don't know if you guys have seen This Is Spinal Tap, but where the guy goes, I'm glad to know the base is a Scorpio. like your business is a Taurus. And now you're glad to know that your business is a Taurus. Brenda, what is your question, lovely? And while you're typing out your question and while I'm shuffling, I'm going to tell you guys about the Wicked Scammy Reader I went to go see, or that I took my friend to go see. I actually was going to do a separate video for it, but for whatever reason, it didn't work out. Like the filming just didn't work out. Can you tell me about your move? Are you moving homes? Are you moving careers? What are you moving? Are you moving heavy boulders in your front yard? Oh, you already put it in there. I feel like such a toolbox. I am so sorry. I didn't mean to be so facetious. You're about to start looking for a new place to live, and you want to tell me about your move. Okay. You want me to tell you about your move. Not you want to tell me. You want me to tell you about your move. What deck do I want to use for that? You know what? Moving can be scary, but it also can be kind of fun. We're going to use Heart of Stars because this deck is a little fun. Okay, so the Wicked Scammy Reader I went to go see. My friend Tiffany has a birthday that's not too far from mine, so I took her to go see. I was just like, we may or may not have had a couple of cocktails, and there's a psychic reader that's right down the street from me, actually. And I said, oh my God, you know, it'd be so fun if we went and got our cards read, and like maybe a little, they do like tea leaf readings and palmistry and stuff, or at least that's what the signs in their window say, and that's what their website says. And then I read, like, of course I looked them up on their website. What should have been my first clue was that my birds are fighting. Oh my God. What should have been my first clue about like it being a little scammy is there were no reviews or testimonials on their website. But the girl, one of the girls that works there has been in my shop a few times. I know her. She's very nice. Henrietta says hi, you guys. Tasha's probably eating her food, and then she's just being bitchy about it. Just because he eats purples, and she won't eat the purples. Just let the dude eat your purples. So anyway, we go there. It's probably like 9:30 at night. They're open till about midnight, and we get in, and they lead us to this. It's a really nice building. They have us sit on a sofa. The guy's grandma is like, it's probably his mother, because he was older. Like this woman is probably his mom. Like she's sitting on a sofa opposite, just like kind of hanging out, and it's like 1,000 degrees in that shop. Like it was like they didn't have air conditioning. They didn't even have a fan going. It was like a bajillion degrees in there. So like he was really sweaty and like kind of in his pajamas. I call it the George Costanza outfit. It's like a really Like, it's a really worn in t-shirt, probably a little too worn in, and a pair of sweatpants. And he was like kind of sweaty, and he was a bigger dude. And I've got nothing against bigger people. I'm a bigger person. Like, I got nothing against it. But I feel like if you're going to be at work, you should probably not be in your George Costanza pajamas. God, that's such an old school reference. And he sits down at this computer, and he starts going through like the list of services, which was not a complete list, by the way. Like, I guess the girl that read that probably reads tea leaves and stuff probably wasn't there. But he's like, okay, well, you can have a general energy reading, and that's $50. Or you can have a palm reading, which comes with a general energy reading for free, which is $75. So it doesn't really, like, it didn't really come for free. Like, they're just upping the, they're just stacking the services and then calling the extra services free. And then he's like, or you can do a tarot reading, which is $150. And it comes with the palm reading and the general energy reading for free. And yeah, but I was like too drunk to know, Brenda. If we're going to be honest, let's be honest. I was a little too drunk to like spot that. I thought like, okay, well, they're just stacking services. It's Cape Cod in the summertime. Most people want the tarot reading. And like for $150, like it's not necessarily out of here. Everything's more expensive here. Like that's the first thing that you need to realize. Like once you go over that bridge to get to Cape Cod, it's like everything is like, I promise you it's more expensive. I've been to other good readers on Cape Cod where they do stack the services, not as crazy as that, because they also do by time. But so those three things. So for those three things, you know, a general, like an energy / aura reading, and a palm reading, and a tarot reading. I feel like all three of those should take probably about an hour, hour and a half in general. Like if I'm doing like even a good 3-card reading will take me an hour sometimes, right? So you go there, I would assume they do the Celtic Cross because that's what most people like kind of want. Yeah, it's a lot of money here. Like like Cape Cod is just expensive. It is what it is. It's a fact of life here, and you just have to learn to live with it. So. And again, and like for those that don't know, we're very seasonal. We have exactly 12 weeks to make the money that we are planning on living off of for the entire year, especially with what's called an entertainment service. I mean, there's not a lot of people that live here year round that are going to go to a tarot reader, and so it's like it's kind of like they got to get the tourists while they're there, and like it just kind of jacks the price. It is what it is. So yeah. So I honestly, like $150 for 3 services, like I've paid that before. It's taken about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, maybe a little more. It's always been really good readings, and it's not, yep, Bar Harbor, same kind of thing. Oh my goodness, I was about to shuffle those so wrong. Was I? Nope, I wasn't. Okay. So yeah, it's like the same kind of thing. It's just very seasonal, so stuff's more expensive, and you stack the stuff on top of each other, and it's fine. But you know, usually, like I will say, usually I've gotten what I paid for. Like it's a good like couple of hours anyway. And most other psychics here, or if you want to call them psychics or readers, like it's usually like half an hour for $60, which would make an hour 120 for whatever kind of reading that you're going for. Just here, the guy didn't give you the option of being like, okay, if you only want half an hour, you only have to pay half. But he sat us down. He's like, this is the prices. We could do it for less, but you have to be honest. Okay. Like, so I was just like, you don't know, like I get it. I get what it's like. I got some extra money burning a hole in my pocket. Like I'll treat my friend. That's fine. I was like, but I'm not. I didn't pay for the both of us. I was just like, just do Tiffany. Like it's her birthday. Like you can just go ahead, because like, you know, whatever. And I said, can I go in with her? I should have just bought, I know, I should have just bought dog food. But again, I was a couple cocktails in, Brenda. Don't blame me, blame the pina coladas. It was a birthday. So Tiffany goes in with this guy, follows this guy in for a reading, and she was very nervous. She's never done anything like this before, and I don't think she knows that I read tarot. I haven't really told her. Her mom is very, not religious, but kind of scaredy of this kind of stuff. And so she goes, and I was like, oh, can I go in with her? And the guy's like, no, because you don't want energy. You don't want the energy to be mixing or whatnot, and you don't want stuff. And I was just like, well, a good reader should be able to tell when something's not in line with a reading, but okay, like I guess I won't go in with her. And he's like, well, stuff and private stuff could come up, but like this is better. So Tiffany's like, she's a BFF. Like we share everything. We share absolutely everything. Like I don't have very many friends just because I don't like making that deep connection with very many people. But like we've been best friends since like the 7th, 8th grade, and we share absolutely 100% everything with each other. I tell her absolutely everything, and she tells me everything, and it's just one of those really good deep friendships. So I mean, like he's like, okay, well, private stuff could come up, and I'm just like, okay, like I guess, but yeah, the cocktails are definitely doing the paying. Anywho, she goes in, and I don't think she was in there for more than half an hour. And she comes out, and she's visibly shaken. So like we were there at 9:30. She kind of got out of the room at about like 10, like somewhere around there. Like she wasn't in there for very long, 30-40 minutes for three services. And I've got my eyebrows raised. I'm like, what? Okay. And keep in mind, by the way, like the entire time I've had to make awkward drunken small talk with this guy's mom, who's like in her 70s or 80s, and it's really I'm an old soul, but my soul's not that old. So like it was like real awkward, and I'm like trying to pretend to be sober. I'm like that kind of drunk where you're like you've got to. I wasn't drunk, but like I had a good buzz on, and I was just trying to be like that kind of like it's awkward, like where you kind of like, oh my goodness, like it was just like she could tell I've had a couple of cocktails, and she's like, it's like this weird like string of non sequiturs, and I'm trying to follow along, but I can't really, and it was just really weird, and there was like some old people music on, and it was kind of ridiculous. So anyway, Tiffany comes out from behind the curtain, and she was visibly shaken and upset. And I was like, okay. And then the guy's like, oh, by the way, there's a 10% entertainment tax, which I wound up looking up, and there is in the state of Massachusetts. And in my town, there's like, you have to charge an entertainment tax, and that's how, and fortune tellers have to be licensed in the town that they live in and stuff. But anyway, like, should have told me, because that made the reading $165. Swiped my card, and we got out of there, and then we get in the car, and she's just like, oh my god, he said all this stuff. He totally pulled the he said she had a wonderful aura, but there was some blackness in it, and for $120 a session he could show her how to clear that dark energy, and that somebody didn't want her, she's engaged, but somebody didn't want their relationship to succeed, so they were throwing some dark energy their way, probably through a spell. And in one of those $250 sessions, he could show her how to block the spells coming her way. And he just said a lot of other stuff. Like some other stuff was personal, but I know I spent another hour talking my drunken friend off the ceiling from this reading. So I was just like, oh my god. So that was my experience with the scamming. Like I had to be like, no, tarot's not evil. Like it's not, like that guy was just a total douche. He was scamming you. It's the oldest trick in the book, and I can't believe he did that to you. And it was just like, it was insane. But anyway, that's my experience with the creepy salesperson. And then I mean, I guess some of the stuff in his reading was kind of good. I don't know. She said some of the information was good, so maybe he had some talent. But yeah, no wonder he didn't want me in there. I would have pulled her out of there faster than, like, I would have pulled her out of there like so fast. I would have just been like, nope, let's go, and I would have had $150 still. But yeah, no wonder, like, yeah. I mean, because I love Tiffany, but she's very much a go with the flow kind of a person, where I'm a salty broad. Like if something's going on and I don't like it, I will tell you, and I will tell you to your face. Okay, so about your move. Okay, so I don't know what this card is. It's Catwoman. So you got the Three of Pentacles, and you got the Fool, and I think this is the Seven of Cups. I don't know what this card is. That really weird that I don't know what this card is? Ivan, do you know what this card is, please? And thank you. If you're still on, I would really, 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 really love if you could tell me what this Julie Newmar card is. I want to say it's the Seven of Cups. Just from like the characters that they've used here, I think that is I don't know, like, I don't know. I think that's the Seven of Cups. But anyway, moving. Okay, so here, oh, this is Lord of the Rings. Oh, not Simon, Ivan. Ivan. You know what card this is, Ivan. Give me a hand. Help a gal out. Okay, so you got the Three of Pentacles and you got the Fool. This card is telling me that you have to be a little more organized in your moving than perhaps you usually are. I don't know how many times you have moved, but I don't know if you like know somebody who's a professional organizer, or if you have a friend that's very, very organized to maybe help you. But packing ahead of time, like starting to pack ahead of time, packing in an organized way, and maybe orchestrating your move in a more organized way with a little bit of help from a friend might be necessary. Maybe you could hire some movers. I don't know if that's in your budget, or you have somebody that works for some movers that's a friend of yours, but this is very much the card of an expert, and a help, and help, and like somebody who kind of knows what they're doing. This is the card of somebody who knows what they're doing. There's no other real way to talk about this in this case. And the Fool is, starting out on a new journey, which is very much what moving is, like half or 3/4 of the way full, and you're just kind of like, I don't know if you're very excited for the place that you're moving to, or if you're just starting to look. I think this card is telling you to maybe not look at these apartments or these houses or wherever it is you're moving with rose-colored glasses. Definitely be open to the positive possibilities of relocating, but I think you need to, I think this is the card of advanced planning. Building a church is no small thing, because normally you'd see this since like the people are like building a church or something, or a building when there's buttresses involved. This is a card of advance. Like, you can't procrastinate here. It's just gonna mess up your shiz. And I think that this is definitely, I don't know, like, again, this is like this is like, don't look at things with rose-colored glasses. Like, it's good to be excited about this move and this journey, but I think you need to think about like a little more of the practical sides. Yes, a realtor would be nice, or even just doing a little bit of research on your own, like, and if you can, going to see the properties for yourself, remembering things. Like, I'm reminded of the time that I was so excited, like when Chris and I first moved in together. I was so excited to do it, and I found a place we could afford, and I just looked at it, and I had my rose-colored glasses on, and then the day we moved in, I went to go put away the silverware and realized the kitchen didn't have drawers. Like, whoever, like, it usually in a house that you see where somebody's kind of built it themselves, or like, okay, like somebody who's like, oh yeah, I can do some millwork, so I'll just buy this, like, I'll get this house and I'll have the people build the house, but I'll do the kitchen myself, like I'll do the cabinets. A lot of people won't do drawers because drawers are hard to make. So especially like back when it was, I want to say that house was built in the 60s. So I forgot to check and make sure that the kitchen had drawers. Yeah. So all the stuff that would normally be in a drawer in a kitchen was on our kitchen counter. So I think this is, you know, don't forget to ask things like, okay, like how's the furnace? Does the kitchen have drawers? Is the toilet in working order? Like, flush your toilets. Like do like kind of think of some of the the small, the stuff we take for granted, like that it should work and be there. Check on it. Like, is there a dishwasher? Do I want to wash dishes by hand? Make sure that, like the kind of the really small, stupid, practical stuff. Again, like this is, I'm very much reminded of the being so excited about a move and forgetting to check that the kitchen had drawers. Like, that all kitchens have drawers. So I think you need to figure out what your kitchen drawer is and just keep an eye out for it while you're looking for new properties. Shower pressure, yes, that's one I check too. Make sure there's good water pressure. Again, make sure the toilets are all in working order. Make sure that there's a maintenance guy that's actually on it. Maybe make sure your next door neighbor isn't a serial killer, like that kind of stuff. I'm going to read this as the Seven of Cups for you because that would be a good card for this read anyway. And that guy's holding a cup, so we're just going to pretend it's the Seven of Cups. You're going to have some choices as far as where to live. There's some stuff out there on the market for you right now. Just be really discerning about your choices. This is very much a card of decision making. Make sure that you pick the right house for you, or the right condo for you. And just, just because something looks good on the surface doesn't, check for mold issues. We have mold and mildew out here. It's just where it's very humid. Just because something looks good on the surface, maybe dig a little deeper and make sure that that is indeed like the right place for you. Because if not, it could end with disastrous results. But I think that you're a smart lady. You'll figure it out. You'll be fine. So that is your read for your move. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Oh my God, kitchen drawers. I can't even. That was it was so. We lived for 2-3 years with trying to keep your silverware because I have birds and birds are very dusty, so keeping the silverware clean was a giant pain in the ass. It was not that we have good silverware or anything, but if I pull a fork out of my drawer, at least in here, in a house with drawers in it, if I know I can pull a fork out of the drawer without dog hair and bird dust all over it, it's just Yep, like I said, Brenda, there's a difference between a wish list and the wish lists are very nice, but also again, it's not so much. I don't think it's so much a wish list thing. I think it's the stuff we take for granted every day. I think you're going to see a place and love it, and you're going to forget about something that's really something tiny that's really important, maybe closet space or closet space or storage applications, or is the corner big enough to hold your TV stand instead of having a fireplace in the way, furniture placement. It's going to be something really tall, and it's going to be something really small, not really tall. It's going to be something really small, and it's going to drive you nuts when you figure it out. It's going to be that thing. It's going to be that thing that you grow to hate about where you live, if that makes any sense. It's going to be, and it's not going to be oh, that's not such a big deal, I can live with that. And then, or it could be as stupid as the light switch for your bedroom not being by the door, but being across the room. It's going to be something really tiny, but it's going to drive you batshit crazy. So it's going to be interesting. Let me know if you figure out what it is. I think it's going to be one of those things you don't realize until you move there. It'll be really funny. So you have to keep me updated. You have to promise to keep me updated on this so we can have a good laugh about it. All right. So how long have we been going, you guys? Do we know? How long has this been on? Let me find out. Oh my God, we've been chatting for an hour and a half. Does anybody else want a reading, by the way? If you want a reading, just put your question in the doobly-doo. Let's see. Oh, Cosmic Creeper's gotta love some salt. Oh, I love salt. Salt is not only a good seasoning, it's a wonderful personality trait, which is really thing to say. But yeah, I don't know if anybody else wants a reading, you know where to put the question. Let's see. I hope Deshan was on long enough to hear the story about the scammer. Let's see. No, it doesn't look like I really missed too much else. Okay, so oh my God, Rebel Deck so good. Can we even talk about how good Rebel Deck is? You know what? Maybe I will pull. I think I'm going to wind it down in a little bit. An hour and a half is a while to be going, and it's 4:13. I got to put some. I actually came into some swordfish recently. So like on Cape Cod, you don't come into money, you come into seafood. So I came into a couple of swordfish steaks, and I have to put those on the grill because that's what I'm having for Din Din. But why don't I pull us some Rebel Deck for the evening for our general reading if nobody else wants a reading. So go ahead and, oh, Cosmic answered me, hour and a half. Awesome. Thank you for that, by the way. So yeah, if nobody else wants a reading, we're doing last call for readings. I'll give it a little bit of time to cycle around because I know there's a little bit of a, oh, you already munched. It's 4 o'clock here, 4:14. So it's like it's getting to that point where it's like time to start thinking about making dinner. Rebel Deck. It's in here somewhere, I think. Haha, it's at the bottom. I need to make this poor deck a bag. There's so much sand and glitter in there. Dog hair. Okay. So I'm going to pull some Rebel Deck cards. And do I want to pull a tarot card to go with this? Yeah, you know what? I am loving the summer vibe of Dame Darcy recently. So we'll pull a Dame Darcy for us. I think that's what I did last time. I think I did Dame Darcy and then something else. It came with a bag. Yeah, a mesh bag. It's where you find things like dog hair, glitter, and dirt and sand. It's not necessarily like the best place to keep the deck in. Yeah, I mean, I love that it's sassy, and if you're nicer to your stuff than you are, than I am, it's a fine bag. It's a fine bag for it, but I am really hard on the things that I own, and at least I'm honest about it, and I know that about myself. So I know I need to take additional steps to protect some of the stuff that I own, but yeah, I haven't made my deck a bag yet. All right, so we'll pull some. We'll do a general reading. I'm glad I'm not the only one who is delicate. Yeah, Brenda just leaves hers on it. Okay, if you just leave your deck on a table. Oh, thank you very much. None of your business lads sent me an email. Awesome. I look forward to reading it. So we're going to do a general energy reading for all of us for the rest of the week. I'll probably do 1 or 2 Breakfast Club live chats. Those are just quick little half-hour things. I'll probably do those this week. Probably not tomorrow, but I'm thinking maybe we'll do one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. And then, you know what? No, because I want to do one after class. So we'll do one on Tuesday, and then we'll do one Friday morning. How does that sound? Because I like that's something we could chat about on a Breakfast Club video. And then I will. I'm gonna start doing more tarot tags. So if you guys know of a good tarot tag that I should do, definitely let me know. Because I kind of fell off the tarot tag horse, but especially quick ones. Like I don't want ones where I have to pull out 48 decks, because I have like a bajillion decks that I could definitely come to the table with for something like that. But I like the good smaller ones. I will definitely be emailing you. I'm interested. Like you're a very interesting person, none of your business, lad, and I am nothing if not interested in interesting people. So, let's see. The Alice Network. Oh, my family's tarot cards. I've got some family drama, so maybe we should avoid that. Oh my goodness, we had one jump out. Okay, so yeah, I've got some family drama, so let's maybe we won't be going there. And it's been a while since I've done a tag too, so I'm sure there's some tags out there that like I could be doing that have already happened, they're already kind of past their whatever. I don't want that one. Okay. Interesting. We got a very interesting reading, you guys. A historical fiction about female spies during World War I, and then in World War II again. Ooh, I love old-timey female spies. Like just diabolical. Nobody saw them shits coming. Like nobody. They were just like, what, mousy little women like baking pies all day long? Like maybe they have an attitude, but they just recently learned how to vote, so let's not take them seriously. like seriously. Oh, so good. I love female spies. Female spy movies. You know what I've actually really been enjoying lately, and I don't know, like I just started watching it, was The Man in the High Castle on Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, it's free to watch, but it's about if the Axis powers won World War II. And you should watch it because there's some really awesome, like it's really like very twisty and turny. I've only seen like the first 2 episodes, just started watching it because I don't have a lot of time to watch a lot of things, but it's really cool. Like you should, like I love kind of like the alternate universe kind of deals, and that's very much what it is. Okay. And I'm going to do the 2-card Rebel deck reading. You know, we'll pull one from the bottom because you can't look at it when you shuffle it. Pull one from the top. Okay. Very interesting. That is a very interesting pull for that. Okay, so for our weekly energy reading, we pulled the 4 of Swords, the 2 of Wands, and the 5 of Cups. Okay, so I think that it's time, like a period of rest and relaxation. It's, you know, summertime usually comes with some hard, fast living. You know, like, okay, let's go to the beach, and let's, like, when you think about like a lot of activities. So, you know, kids are off from school, there's all sorts of stuff going on, you know, like maybe like friends, barbecues, hangouts, nights out, like going to the beach, going to fairs, going to carnivals or fairs, going to, you know, maybe doing like summertime craft fairs because the weather's good, farmers markets, like all sorts of like awesome, super fun activities that only come in the summer. But sometimes we forget to recharge ourselves for those things. So I think the 4 of Swords is very much like, this is a card of rest and relaxation. Like we need to maybe like slow our rolls. We're cramming a little too much good times into our lives. You know, for me, it's a lot of work. For you guys, it might be a lot of play. But we do forget that we need to take time out to rest ourselves in between that. So maybe this week should be a quieter week for us. And I love that it's a quieter week. Look, the seaweed is blocking her mouth, not her eyes though. I mean, you know, definitely like, you know, maybe take this week to observe and to kind of little self-introspection, a little people watching, like just some quieter activities. It's just like, this is just, to me, this is a card of like, shh, just relax. Like this right now, this is a very like relaxy card. And then while we have ourselves turned down a little bit, like we need to stop being 11. Like we've got ourselves turned all the way up to 11 right now. Maybe it's time to turn ourselves down to like a 4. And while we're doing that, the Two of Wands, this is a time to like weigh our options and kind of see what direction we want to head, especially for the fall. Like I hate to say it, but the year is half over. It's time to take a look at like what we've done for the first half of the year. Have we accomplished what we wanted to this year? Maybe it's time to kind of redirect and like reset our compasses and kind of take a look at like where it is exactly we want to go or what we want to accomplish by the time 2017 is over, and maybe start thinking about what we need to do to get to where we want to be. You know, kind of take a look at it, like reevaluate our goals, maybe set some new goals. Certainly okay. Like if you set yourself an unattainable goal at the beginning of the year or recently, it's okay to admit that you have a goal that's unattainable. You know, and it's okay to like that whole shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you'll land among the stars. I think I've always hated that saying. I think it's bullshit. If you shoot for the moon and then you don't make it there, you're totally discouraged, and then you're never going to try to go to the moon again. So maybe we should think about, you know, instead of shooting for the moon, maybe we should be okay with like getting in a plane, or maybe we should be okay with reaching for the upper atmosphere. You know, baby steps, Bob, baby steps. So it's time to like reevaluate and maybe set some realistic goals for ourselves. Because like when you reach those goals, like those, it's really silly to be setting tiny goals, but a lot of people are like, well, that's not really a goal. And it's like, yeah, but like how encouraged are you when you reach a goal? Like, right, that makes you want to keep going or set another goal that's a little bit further. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a little more effective for people to set smaller goals and reach them and be charged and energized by the feeling of victory than it is to set something, to set up a, like, I mean, if you're a big project person, like the shoot for the moon thing isn't necessarily bad, but how disappointing is it when you don't reach your goal? Like, it's super disappointing. So setting yourself some small goals in between the big goal that you want to reach is like, or like even goal posts is good. It's time to kind of rest and reevaluate, I think. And then we drew the 5 of Cups, which is, this is a card of loss and of not focusing on the good things. So again, I think with reevaluating your year, I think it's important to remember it's not about the cups that you've spilt, it's about the cups that you've got left, right? So don't let, I'm gonna sneeze. Don't let unfinished business or maybe not being able to get to where you want to be, or like there's something that's kind of bringing you down, and kind of like don't let it make you sad. I think it's just what this card is about for us today. Like rest, relaxation, and kind of focusing on the positive. And oh, thank you, Brenda. Focusing on what we have left that's positive to, you know, again, like I think this all comes back to setting goals and kind of reevaluating where we are in our year. Like if you haven't quite reached a place that you want to be, like don't be sad about it. Just, you know, put on your big girl pants or your big boy pants or your big person pants, and you know, kind of like have your moment to be like, oh, that's sad, I didn't make it to where I want to go, but here's a more realistic goal, if that makes any sense. Also, our Rebel deck, really interesting reading for us. It's eat your fucking vegetables, watch out, shit could get ugly. Summer and holiday time or whatever is also a time of junk food eating. You know, it's fresh vegetables and stuff, but it's also like fair food and cotton candy and Coney Island hot dogs and like, you know, farmers markets, which I love how people like to pretend farmers markets are super healthy for you, but I'm pretty sure I can get, you know, brick oven fired pizza and cotton candy and kettle corn at my farmer's market. So I think this is just a reminder to us that like we are coming into a season where we've got some awesome healthy food and fruit coming our way and maybe we should eat it. And if we don't eat it, like nobody's fault but your own for having a bad diet. Like you got to watch out. Shit could get ugly in so many different ways where food is concerned. So, you know, just remember, just a reminder to be a little healthier and a little nicer to our bodies, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, like the farmers, there's some guy selling arepas, I think they're called. It's like a Brazilian thing. It's like a pocket of bread with like this amazing marinated meat and cheese and bacon in it. And that is not healthy. It was delicious, but it was not healthy. So I think this is, again, a reminder for us to be a little nicer to our bodies and remembering exactly, like being a little more down to earth on what is healthy for us and what we perceive as healthy. Oh my goodness. Oh, pasta and cheese. Stop it right now, Brenda. You're making me so hungry. Like maybe the fish that I grill, I shouldn't slather in mayonnaise before I put it on the grill. By the way, which is like the official best way to cook swordfish. If you guys didn't know, you put mayonnaise on both sides of the swordfish so that way it doesn't stick to your grill. And as it cooks, the mayonnaise is supposed to burn off. But that is our general energy reading and my swordfish grilling tip for you. And I hope that you guys loved it. I'm going to get going. Oh my God, you guys are making me so hungry right now. Okay, I'm gonna go so I can grill that fish. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon, and I will see you around YouTube.